it's a transition period, and it's a period of change. That may be the case. As a manager, you have to find that for yourself. You have to work with the players, get to know the players, understand the players, find out their strengths and weaknesses, but impose your own style of play within the club. That's why I was appointed.
Welcome to Changing the Guard. The season started for the Gunners as soon as football took its annual summer leave. The board of directors decided it was time to rebuild, and the man they entrusted to lay the new foundations was Bruce Rioch. His search for new firepower took him to Italy as he acquired a Dutch master in Dennis Bergkamp. England's finest David Platt followed hot on his heels.
I want to win the honours in an English game, and I don't think there's any better place to do it than here at Highbury.
They made the right things for me, what made me happy, so the position in the field, the way we should play, we would play, and that's the first thing I wanted to know.
After the encouragement of an unbeaten pre-season tour to Sweden, Bruce had the satisfaction of seeing his new recruits open their goal-scoring accounts on home soil. With the Premiership challenge next, how optimistic was he for the season ahead?
I tried as soon as possible in arriving to find the simplest formation for the players to settle into, in order that we could find continuity and to see if we could obtain results quickly. And the preparations for the season were good. The camaraderie was good, the results were good, it built the confidence within the players. And that took us into the opening period of the season.
Arsenal and Middlesbrough emerge into the sunshine at the start of a brand new Premiership season which sparkles with promise. Dennis Bergkamp is here at Highbury, David Platt back in English football as well. It is a perfect setting, a packed stadium full of anticipation. Ignate's throw. Touch back to him by Barmby. Musto. It's a nice turn. Fiotov's flick. And Barmby is in. And Middlesbrough made a great start here at Highbury. The Division 1 champions have taken the lead through a former Tottenham player, Nick Barmby. Parlour. Got the better of Musto. Right! Well, you can talk all you like about the newcomers, including the manager, but it's the old favourite who's equalised, Ian Wright. Parlour did very well indeed, and Wright headed it beyond Miller. Bold making the move towards the near post. Duncan Ferguson trying to keep tabs on him. And it's against the frame of the goal from Platt. David Platt coming so close to his first Arsenal goal. Now Merson. Noel Barrett is one of the best defenders around in a one-on-one situation, forcing Merson inside. But Merson's pass is a tremendous one, and Platt is round Southall, and David Platt has scored. Well, it's the type of thrust from midfield that certainly Platt has made his name with, and Bruce Rioch will be absolutely delighted with that. Wright picked out by Bergkamp. The two certainly have come up with an understanding here, and it's led to an Arsenal second goal in off the far post. Ian Wright takes his bow, and certainly a sign here of Bergkamp and Wright fitting in nicely together.
Our tactics then, been fresh, second game of the season, were to get in amongst the opposition, deny them time and space, hit them on the counter-attack. And again, because it's your first game at home, Everton would want to please their supporters, would want to come forward, and there's room when you have players with pace to hit the team on the break. It's becoming more evident in the game. It's always been evident in my style of teams, and you know, we did that on the day, so it was a good victory, pleasing victory.
The visit to Highfield Road proved to be a fruitless affair for the Gunners. Ian Wright coming closest to unhinging the Sky Blues' defence. Next up was the second home game of the season against Nottingham Forest.
Played wide by Merson. Now Winterburn. Stone trying to shut him down. Parlour. That's a good ball from Ray Parlour. Dixon's first time cross, and a tremendous goal by Platt on the volley. A real beauty. And it's really thrilled the Arsenal crowd, this. Dixon across, and so sweetly in from David Platt. Pearce pushing on. Campbell has turned, and the Arsenal product has come back in Nottingham Forest colours to haunt his old club here. Kevin Campbell has popped in the equaliser.
David Platt, captain of his country, record holder for transfer fees accumulated, and a player accustomed to fame and fortune. But his story has far humbler origins. He started his career as a YTS trainee with Manchester United, but frustrated with playing in the Lancashire League, he departed for Crewe Alexandra. His next step saw him leapfrog to the First Division with Aston Villa, and eventually a place in the England squad for the 1990 World Cup.
It had always been an ambition of mine, even before the World Cup. Probably a dream is probably the right word to use, to actually go to Italy. Because dreams are something that you can have, but may not materialise. And I think after the World Cup in 1990, it started to become an ambition. It was held in Italy. I'd enjoyed the way that the Italians had ran it. The stadiums were magnificent. And it became an ambition then, because it was something that was quite feasible to achieve. I did another 12 months at Villa. And then, you know, Sampdoria were rumoured to be interested at that time. But in the end, I chose to go to Bari, basically because time was running out for me, and I wanted to go to Italy desperately.
His move to Bari was a success. He was appointed club captain and finished the season as his side's leading goalscorer. A big money move to Juventus followed, but instead of it being the fulfilment of his career, he suffered a personal disaster. Competition with the other foreigners at the club was so intense that his appearances became more and more limited. Speculation mounted he was about to cut short his Italian adventure.
I didn't want to come back and people said, oh, there's just an Englishman who's failed in Italy, which is how it would have been perceived by many and how it would have been portrayed by many. I didn't want that to happen, and wasn't in a position to prepare to let that happen. Having said that, the only club that then I wanted to join really was Sampdoria. Roberto Mancini was very, very important for me. He pushed his president into making a decision to sign me. Unfortunately, Paolo Mantovani, the president, died about 3 months after, and I didn't really get a good opportunity to get to know him very, very well. But I still believe it's an honour that I had the 3 months in which I did know him. He was like a dad to Mancini, and like I say, fortunately enough, he listened to his son in inverted commas, and Mancini pushed me to go.
His move to Sampdoria quickly paid off. The goals he was renowned for started to flow again, and the rewards followed in the shape of the 1994 Italian Cup. Last summer he signed an extension to his contract and seems set to remain in Italy for at least another year.
Even when I signed the contract over in Genoa for another year, i.e. this year, there was always the possibility that Sampdoria would say to me, look, if we receive an offer for you that is too much for us to refuse, we might ask you to make a sacrifice, so to speak. So the summer came along, and like I say, I was perfectly happy to see out my contract, but I always knew at the back of my mind that there might be the opportunity to go back to England if a club came in with a sizable offer that tempted Sampdoria. Arsenal came in with that offer, and it was put to me by the Sampdoria president. But I spoke to David Dean. I was perfectly happy with the way that he sold Arsenal. But then it was important to speak to Bruce Rioch as well, to see what his thoughts on how to play the game were, because it would have been a waste of time me coming back had I not agreed with the way that the manager wanted to play the game. But at the end of the day, I had to look at it from that point of view of my age and saying, well, I've probably maybe got 3-4 years left to challenge for honours, and I need to join a club that's capable of winning things in its first year. In my first year there.
More from David later, but for now we return to the Premiership as Arsenal travel to Main Road.
Parlour has got it back for Wright. That's a tremendous try. Touched over by Immel somehow. Well, surely Ian Wright could hardly have hit that one better. Quinn. And he's been penalised, complaining that Lee Dixon made more of it than he was entitled to do, but it's a free kick to Arsenal. And there's suddenly a bit of extra hunger about their play. Bergkamp. And Wright! Arsenal have won it! Surely in the closing moments, Ian Wright has pinched it from Manchester City. Some doubt about the free kick, but no doubt about the goal. Forward from Breaker. These London derbies really testing affairs, and often put forward as the reason why London clubs, Arsenal apart, don't have a great deal of success to show in the Championship itself. That's Julian Dix on Ian Wright, and Arsenal have got a penalty. It was a test of skill and a test of will in the end, and Wright won it. Oh, and Ian Wright has put it well wide. Winterberg. No, Bergkamp keeping going. It's another penalty. Extra acceleration from Bergkamp. And Steve Potts going for the ball but got the man. So Wright a second time, and this time it counts.
Arsenal's unbeaten start to the season sees them in 5th place, 3 points behind joint leaders Newcastle and Manchester United. Our first taste of cup action sees a repeat of last year's second round fixture against Hartlepool.
Merson to plant it back again. That's Adams. Now Bold. Oh, Adams! Smart piece of finishing there. There's a gap opened up for Merson. Right! Well, Hartlepool players were slipping all over the place, and Ian Wright stooped to conquer. Merson. Arsenal leading by 2-0. Merson, Lee Dixon has stayed down. He's flexing that right shoulder. The game goes on. And it's Adams! He's got another one!
One man not amongst the Hartlepool goals was the Gunners' record signing. The press were quick to label him an expensive misfit. Could he put the record straight against Southampton?
Held up. And he's raced on past Richard Hall. Right, going to the near post. Bergkamp! There it is at long, long last. In his 7th Premiership game. And now he's in 7th heaven. Merson's corner. Touched on by Bold. We've seen it all before. It keeps on working. Tony Adams. The well-practiced Arsenal corner routine, and Southampton found it unstoppable. Well, that is a foul by Adams. And Matt Le Tissier has got a four-man wall to take on here, and it's a goal! It's Watson who got the touch. 2-1. Reflex action from Gordon Watson. Schipperle. It's a chance for Southampton again with Watson, and Keown is there on guard duty by the post. Well, the Southampton goal has certainly brought them to life. Le Tissier with the corner. And they've got another one. Ken Moncao. And it's 2-2. Matt Le Tissier involved in both of the goals. Watson with the first. And the Dutch defender, Ken Moncao, equalising. Bergkamp. And he's got within range. And now he most certainly has found the range in Arsenal's colours. Splendid goal, and Arsenal are back in front. Well read by Helder. It's all about Dutchman today. It's what he does better than most players around. And the goal-scoring legend gets in on the act.
We got another win here, and that's important. And for myself personally, I think it's nice to score a goal, and there were two special goals as well. So I think, a little celebration for myself as well.
I had every confidence and faith that Dennis would produce performances for the team, and one has to accept that he needs to settle an in period. He was in a hotel, getting to know the English style of game, and it took him a while to get. It took him about 5 or 6 games to get a goal. But when they came, they were worth waiting for.
Arsenal suffered their first defeat of the season at Stamford Bridge. They tinkered with their tactics to no avail as Mark Hughes scored the only goal of the game. Back to the Coca-Cola Cup for the return leg against Hartlepool.
Well, the Arsenal supporters expecting something of a show from their favourites, and Merson putting on the style straight away. In from Merson, it's Dennis Bergkamp. He's steered it in. Well, Steve Jones deputising for the suspended Brian Horn, and he's got a problem here. Well, more famous goalkeepers than Jones have been beaten like that by Ian Wright. Now Parlour. Through the crowd, goalkeeper got to it! It's in, and Bergkamp was the man responsible. Long from Dixon, dropped over the top, taken with rare precision. Ian Wright. Helder. Wright has a hat-trick.
We return to Premiership action as Arsenal face a potentially tricky encounter with Leeds.
Palmer getting it back for Leeds. Oh, Lukic has kicked it straight to Merson. Well, it's a brilliant reaction from Paul Merson. A terrible mistake by John Lukic, who of course won a championship medal with Arsenal, but unwittingly he's helped the Gunners' cause here. But it still took some finishing by Merson. An amazing goal. Brian Deane coming back. As Bold got forward, but he was nowhere near him, and it's led to Bergkamp. The merest of touches, but poor marking by Leeds. A well-won header by Bold, and a delicious finish from Dennis Bergkamp. Kelly. Now Palmer. Across from Wallace towards Weatherall. And it bounced on the bar twice. About that. That is absolutely top class. A glorious goal from Ian Wright. And even by his very high standards, this was very special.
We scored the goals when we were playing well, and we needed to score goals when you're playing well, and we ran out worthy winners. And I think it was a great boost to the team, a great confidence booster to the individuals, and a great confidence booster to the supporters.
On now to the first of many meetings with Aston Villa.
Bergkamp able to hold it up and then get a ball inside Gary Charles for Helder. Oh, Bosnich has made a real mess of it, and Paul Merson walks it into the net. Well, Aston Villa have come here with a rather defensive attitude, but that was a catastrophe for the goalkeeper. Bergkamp. Back for Helder again. Still got Bergkamp there. The two Dutchmen have worked Aston Villa all over the place, and Ian Wright has put it in. A little fortunately at the end.
Despite the defeat against Chelsea, Arsenal progressed to third in the league, 6 points behind early pace-setters Newcastle. The third round of the Coca-Cola Cup sees Arsenal journey north to rain-drenched Barnsley.
Adams has come in front of the wall, now peels away. Bergkamp shot, the goalkeeper spilled it. Steve Bold with opportunism worthy of Ian Wright. Bergkamp. Well, Barnsley were very slow to get to him, and that's the price you pay against a player of that amount of talent. Merson. That's Martin Keown coming in, a third for Arsenal.
Their comfortable victory in the Cup set up Bruce Rioch's emotional return to Burnden Park.
Here's Helder on the right. Jimmy Phillips, the defender. Bergkamp. Helder. That's a good stop by Brannigan at full stretch. Patalainen. Now Stubbs. Oh, there's some space here for McGinley. John McGinley and Bolton are into the lead.
Now for one of the biggest games of the season.
Black. Owen is in trouble here, and Bergkamp. Oh, what a boost for Arsenal. You don't see Dennis Owen make too many mistakes, but this was certainly one of them, and Bergkamp cashed in on it. Merson. Heading between Bruce and Sharp. Still Paul Merson, and it's come back into play off the post. A let-off for Manchester United. Still 1-0 to Arsenal.
The team had to defend well on occasions. United had a lot of possession on occasions through the middle of the field. We were obviously going to be concerned about their counter-attack, and the fact that Schmeichel can set those counter-attacks up with his long throws to the halfway line. All these factors we mentioned to players, but we hope that they would take them on board themselves in their own manner as being professionals, and log them in their memory bank for when they're out on the pitch. But it was a good win, an excellent win for us.
A visit to Coney training ground found the players in good spirits ahead of the first North London derby.
Obviously Tottenham's always a big game, and they've seemed to have picked up. We got a good result against Coventry at the weekend, and very good side, talented players. It'll be very tough for us.
Already there's a more open feel to this than in a lot of recent North London derbies. Platt, look at the space here for Merson. Hartson, Merson wants it back, he gets it back. Bergkamp is free! And Arsenal have scored a magnificent goal here at White Hart Lane. Well, much was made of Dennis Bergkamp's slow start in England, but he's certainly put his game together in recent weeks. Merson. Hartson got to it. Away by Dozel. Oh, and first to the bounce was Armstrong. He's got Fox in possession. Tottenham getting players forward quickly. Still rule Fox. And it's Sheringham! And David Seaman could only help it in. So 1-1, a crisp counter-attack from Tottenham. Teddy Sheringham equalises. Bergkamp, good tackle by Mabbutt. And he wants to get involved further forward. Armstrong. Sheringham. Armstrong again, he skipped round Bold. Chris Armstrong, 2-1 to Tottenham. The goal in keeping with the way the game has been played. Chances for both sides. And Tottenham have taken another one here, and they've taken the lead for the first time.
We started the game so well, and there were some good performances actually on the day individually. But you have that feeling of, you know, all the good work has gone down the drain really because we've lost the game.
Time to put matters right against Sheffield Wednesday.
So what can Arsenal make of this free kick? Merson is there. Bergkamp's having a good look at it. Bergkamp takes, and Bergkamp scores! Done with due deliberation here. Hyde. Now Waddle taking over. Chris Waddle has got some space courtesy a good return pass from Graham Hyde. And David Hurst soaring in at the far post. 1-1. Deep ball from Waddle. He had time to assess what was on in the centre. And that's a great header. There's always a problem when you wait for the ball to bounce, and Sheffield Wednesday really snapping in. De Kreiser. Oh, Bold has slipped. This is Whittingham. And now Waddle. Quite a turnaround at Highbury. And Guy Whittingham didn't panic. He looked up and spotted Chris Waddle. Platt. Still Arsenal 2-1 behind. Bergkamp. Great movement from Winterburn! Well, that's a marvellous equaliser from a player here who is always regarded as one of the unsung heroes. Well, they're singing out his praises now. Headed on by Hartson. And Dickoff. Smart finishing there, and Arsenal have forged their way into the lead. John Hartson played a major part, and Paul Dickoff round pressman. Merson. Now Platt. Arsenal wanting more. Hartson, they've got more! Well, give John Hartson the service and, of course, the opportunity. And this is what could happen.
With the visit of the defending champions providing little in terms of clear-cut chances, it was left to Arsenal to try and break the deadlock. This shot from Paul Merson, saved by Tim Flowers, stopped the Gunners winning a game they dominated. The point achieved left Arsenal still in third place, but 8 points behind Newcastle. The fourth round of the Coca-Cola Cup brought old Cup foes Sheffield Wednesday back to Highbury.
Bergkamp, who got the game off in the league to such a good start for Arsenal. Oh, and a good stop by Pressman. Platt goes in a second time. And now Waddle has wasted it. But Kevin Pressman stood up here and somehow kept it out. Seaman can only parry it down to Greiser. Well, they were in front in the league game and couldn't hang on to it. Now they've got a chance in the Coca-Cola Cup here at Highbury. Mark de Greiser. Quickly in by Merson. Des Walker did very well to get to that. Bergkamp, right, Merson. Well, the attempted tackle was by Watts, and it's led to a penalty despite the protests. Watts was late. Ian Wright. Short approach. The goal that Arsenal very much need. Dixon. That's good hold-up play by Hartson. He wasn't just settling for that. I think he took Sheffield Wednesday by surprise. Instead of looking to lay the ball off, John Hartson put it in the net.
To Villa Park, and for one Arsenal player, a nostalgic return.
Merson's free kick. Oh, that's a great goal. David Platt back at Villa Park and really making his point with a powerful header. It's Townsend. York. Room on the left for Alan Wright. York! Two very, very good goals here. And David Platt's lead cancelled out here by Dwight York.
At the Dell, an uninspired Arsenal drew their third Premiership match in a row. Could they break this unfortunate treble against Chelsea at Highbury?
Burley. It's a very precise play from Chelsea. Petrescu. From Hughes. Craig Burley's cross. And that's Terry Phelan who's reached it. Spencer coming on to this one. A goal in keeping with the Chelsea style. Merson. And still Merson against the bar. Helder. Oh, Karin acrobatically kept it out. Arsenal's corner. It's Dixon. Well, when it looked as though they would never find a goal, Dixon scored a fantastic one.
Glenn tried to knock it in from straight from the corner and he mishit it, and it fell to the edge of the box to David Platt, and he sort of controlled it and he was rolling towards me, and I just shouted him to leave it, and I just lashed it, and it, you know, it's one of them that normally goes, like, as the fans would probably notice, normally go in the stand, but it went right in the top corner, and it was sweetly struck, to say the least.
Beardsley. Arsenal trying to hold their defensive shape. Over the top from Barton. And Ferdinand, who's never scored against Arsenal before, well, he has done now.
The defeat against league leaders Newcastle left Arsenal lying in 6th place and hoping for better fortune in 1996. When the video club was invited to film the Arsenal ladies, it was surprisingly at the home of football, Wembley. The FA had granted Arsenal a special match against the Wembley ladies. It was a perfect opportunity to put a disappointing season behind them. The loss of some of their key players had paid its toll as they exited both cups at the semi-final stage and relinquished their league crown. Marianne Spacey, their star player of last year, explained why she wasn't in the starting lineup.
I got pregnant, so it is a bit, you can never say pregnancy is a disappointment, but for my own personal reasons, I'm delighted. Maybe it's a good idea, maybe it's good for me to have a break as well from football and come back maybe a bit stronger and better for it.
With the match underway, the Arsenal ladies suffered the kind of luck which has afflicted them all season. Naz Ball, one of their old girls, scored the only goal of the game for the Wembley ladies. Despite their loss, the girls refused to be downhearted.
For a lot of the girls, it's the first time they played on Wembley, so it's something special.
After prize giving, manager Vic Akers was in reflective mood.
After winning the double last year, this year has been a bit of an anticlimax really. We've suffered numerous injuries throughout the season, and we've had a loss of a goalkeeper before the season started, the England international. So it's been a very difficult year for us. But having said that, the young ones that have come in have stood their ground, and they've done the club proud. And culminating coming here tonight and playing in this game. Obviously, we'd like to have won the game, but it's not all about winning at this stage. And if we can keep progressing the way we are, I think we'll be okay next year.
Sheffield United provide the Gunners' first opposition in the FA Cup.
Winterburn. It's come through for Merson. And Wright has forced it over the line. Arsenal back off. Oh, and Dame Whitehouse!
More cup action as Arsenal take on the league leaders in a vital clash.
Jensen. Came off the head of Albert. And Arsenal have a corner. Taken by Helder. Two Arsenal players going out for it, both Bergkamp and Wright. Bergkamp shot! Cernicek somehow got to it. He comes again. The goalkeeper doesn't get to it the second time. The pressure from Arsenal. The shot from Bergkamp. And it was a fine try, matched by the save. Helder with the corner. Merson is free. Platt is there. Well, Newcastle under the cosh at the moment. They let Paul Merson get to it. If Wright could have touched that, he might well have scored. Beresford. Ferdinand muscled out of it by Adams. Merson, Platt. This is good work again from Arsenal. Wright. Oh, it's a goal! A shot that swerved considerably and totally bamboozled Cernicek. I don't know whether the bounce on the ball here made the mind up for Ian Wright, but he went for goal and he's grabbed the glory. Ferdinand. And The linesman is flagging. Lee Dixon is down. Gerald Ashby is checked with his colleague. And David Ginola may well have used an elbow. It's a red card for the Frenchman. Spotted by a linesman. And Ginola has to go. Free kick given against Keogh. Climbing on Ferdinand. Two Arsenal players going for the same ball. Ferdinand! Well, that was a really good opportunity. Kevin Keegan knows it. Merson. Albert trying to get back. Merson gets the better of him and of Beresford. Right. Oh, against the post. This is Bergkamp and wide of the post. Well, Newcastle pressing with 10 men and leaving the gaps, and Wright looking to exploit them. Helder. Right! Well, that's finished it, and in the grand manner. Ian Wright second, Arsenal second.
Newcastle, for me, it was either us or Newcastle, and that's no disrespect to the other sides. I think if you can beat Newcastle, you've got a very good chance of going all the way, and hopefully we can now.
We asked for a high-tempo game, a demanding game, high tempo, move the ball quickly, run at the back four, get in amongst the two central defenders, and try to disturb them, pay close attention to other individuals, and deny them the time to get their passing game together. If they're allowed to do that, they'll pass you off the pitch, and the team did that.
This is Dave. He's shopping, but he'd rather be somewhere else. If you're an Arsenal season ticket holder who can't make it to the game, there's always someone out there who can. All you have to do is log on to the official Arsenal website and follow the links for the ticket exchange, and you can help other club members like Dave get to the game and make sure there isn't a spare seat in the Emirates. It's safe, secure and convenient, and you'll get 90% of the ticket value reimbursed back against your next season ticket renewal. Plus, Dave gets to see his beloved Arsenal. If you're a member and haven't got a ticket for the match, there still may be tickets available on the Arsenal Ticket Exchange. For more information, visit www.arsenal.com/membership.
In these uncertain times, as Britain's favourite travel agent, we promise whatever you book with us, your money's safe. From flights to hotels, cruises to holidays, everything you buy from us is covered by the Thomas Cook 24-hour money-back guarantee. Whatever you book with us, we promise your money is safe. Thomas Cook it.
The teams occupying first and second place in the Championship, head-to-head, the last match of the season for the League Championship.
I think this one has a special meaning for Arsenal. I know they were legends.
So a night of chilling simplicity about it, really. Arsenal must win by 2 goals to take the title.
Yeah, I watched it on telly a couple of times. My dad's a Liverpool fan, so he was gutted.
It was just an amazing night, and I can certainly remember my goal, you know, like it was yesterday, glancing it in.
And Smith! And Arsenal have scored!
Everybody remembers where they were that day, and everybody remembers that game. It's a finish that I don't think will ever happen again in football.
Take the game of chess, first move, show your hand, and it's down to me. I just knew I'll score.
Thomas! It's up for grabs now! Thomas! Right at the end!
It's always a great feeling when you score, when you make the winner or something, so imagine when it means you will win the league. Everyone loves them, so we all hope here we can do the same with this team.
Because she was born in Sao Paulo. Because she loved putting on a good show. And a good curry. Because she was top of her class in French. Milena is one of our cabin crew. Together they come from more than 100 nations. So you'll always feel a little more at home with us, wherever you're from. Fly Emirates to more than 100 destinations.
From EDF Energy, supplying energy to millions of homes and businesses.
Setanta Sports News is the new 24-hour dedicated sports news channel.
Sports news updates every 20 minutes, every hour, every day.
Setanta Sports News, a constant eye on breaking news and ongoing stories.
Setanta Sports News, a new attitude to sports reporting, a new team and a new style.
Setanta Sports News.
Don't miss all the dynamic action and latest developments.
Setanta Sports News.
Because sports news doesn't just happen when the players are on the field.
Sports news updates every 20 minutes, every hour, every day.
Great sport is entertaining, and so are we.
Setanta Sports News.
First, with all the breaking sports news.
Sports news updates every 20 minutes, every hour, every day.
Whatever the sport, we've got it covered, from the changing room to the boardroom.
Setanta Sports News.
Sports news that captures the viewpoint of the avid sports fan.
Setanta Sports News.
Setanta Sports News.
Setanta Sports News, the new sports news channel.
The Premiership action continues at the new Riverside Stadium.
Helder's corner. There's Adams coming in. There might have been a push in there. The referee didn't see anything wrong. Jensen. And Merson! Arsenal have taken the lead. Pollock. Crossed by Little. Fjortoft. Oh, Juninho's got a chance. Juninho's got a goal. Barnby. Juninho's pass. And this is Stamp. His first senior goal. Merson's free kick is a great one. It's against the post by Wright and touched in by David Platt. Right. Now Merson, tight angle, goes across the goal and Helder!
With that hard-earned victory, Arsenal remain in 5th place and on course for a possible place in Europe. In the FA Cup third-round replay, Arsenal's hearts were broken for the 3rd year running at the hands of First Division opposition. This time, Blade striker Mark Viet inflicted the damage.
They showed the greater drive, would be the word I would use, on that particular evening. Why? It does happen on occasions to some teams. Again, we don't like it. We're not happy with it. But it does happen.
A miserable week was complete when both centre-backs reported serious injuries.
When the surgeon opened me up in the groin area, he found that I didn't have a tendon that was attaching the muscle to the bone, so he's just taken the muscle off the bone and told me I can do without it, so that's where we are. I actually got injured in training, five-a-side training session, and it was nice of John Hartson to actually put 16 stone or whatever he is through my knee. The result being that I had 2/3 of my cartilage removed.
You normally get 6 or 7
long-term injuries a year, spread over the 3 squads, but we seem to have had them all in the first team, and we've had a plague of centre-halves this year for some reason. I don't know why, but it's something we'll look at the end of the year. We'll go through all the statistics and all the figures of how long they've been out, why they've been out, and try and come up with any reasons why, and if we can change things we will, but it just might have been one of those years where we've had some bad luck.
The visit of Everton to Highbury provided a surprise for an unsuspecting Ian Wright.
Jensen. Right. It was a good turn. 4 players around him, and he's still scored. That captain's armband may be providing extra inspiration, because this is a classic from today's captain. Nothing Everton could do to stop it. Seaman's kick, headed back by Watson. Oh, and Arsenal looking for an offside. Graham Stewart is round the goalkeeper. He's put it in. The ball came back quickly. Arsenal were on the turn, and Stewart was certainly alert. Kanchelskis. And it's got through Seaman. Well, David Seaman doesn't make too many mistakes, but that's certainly one.
I was really surprised. It was just like the boys, some boys like Paul Dickoff came in and he was saying, all right, Skip and that, and I didn't get what he was on about. And then a couple of them was coming on and saying, all right, Skip. And then afterwards when the boss put the team sheet up, and then I saw that the captain was by my name, and you know, it was really, you know, it was kind of eerie, kind of funny. It really made me feel, God, you know, it's like all this responsibility all of a sudden, and I really took it quite seriously. But then once I started playing, it was all right, and then to score a goal like that when I was captain, it really meant a lot to me.
Headed out by Booth, down by Dublin. And Noel Whelan is onside. Whelan against Seaman. And Whelan is the winner. Arsenal gathering in the centre. Held as cross. An equaliser, as simple as you like, from Dennis Bergkamp.
With the news that Tony Adams was injured, Martin Keown was appointed as replacement captain against Nottingham Forest. His side got off to the perfect start, following this strike by Dennis Bergkamp.
I think you've got to take the job on and realise the responsibility that goes with it. To be captain of the Arsenal. I mean, I'm an Arsenal supporter myself, so I'm just fulfilling a dream, really. As corny as it sounds, but and I'm going to hope to do it for as long as possible. Tony will be back soon now, but when he comes back, I'll still carry on trying to be an influence in the dressing room.
The win at Forest kept the team in 7th place and gave them a timely boost for their forthcoming Coca-Cola Cup semi-final.
Tommy Johnson couldn't keep it in play. Villa didn't do themselves justice here in the league game. Merson. Bergkamp. It's in! Right into the corner. A raking drive. And it got the better of Bosnich. York letting it run for Johnson. Cleared by Keown. And there's no flag. Dennis Bergkamp again. Arsenal on fire at the moment. Johnson. Aston Villa stirred and shocked by conceding 2 to Bergkamp. Blocked by Linegan. Aston Villa have a corner. Short from Draper, who then, with the help of Townsend, crosses deep. Hesitation by Winterburn. York retrieved it. Merson, what was he trying to do? Arsenal can't get it away. Draper. Still they can't get it away, and Aston Villa have taken advantage. Dwight York. All sorts of chaos here, and it ended with York drilling it in. Milosevic. Linnigan trying to get to him, and Keown as well. But York won the battle for the cross, and Aston Villa, who were 2 goals behind, are now level. Well, Arsenal kicking themselves for not having a really handy advantage to take to Villa Park. And Johnson against the bar. York against Seaman. Villa could have been in front. Here's Merson. It's been a magnificent match. Parler, great save by Bosnich. Back with Merson again. Wright. Not quite for Bergkamp. But Paul Merson put Ray Parler through, and it was a smothering save from Mark Bosnich.
I think we started very well, 2 goals on myself, and yeah, from there on it went a little bit wrong, I think. But overall a good game, and we still got a chance.
Parler. Now Hillier. It's good play from Arsenal. Bergkamp. Oh, and Charles almost let Winterburn in, and then Bosnich had to save from Merson. Steered forward by Dixon. Aston Villa still in front, but only on the away goals. There have been no goals at Villa Park. Merson. That's a good save from Winterburn's header by Bosnich. Merson. Well, Arsenal, knowing that they've got to get a goal, and mixing patience with probing play as well. And they're very, very close again. Once more, Winterburn. And for all Arsenal's efforts, it does look as though they're going out.
To go out of a competition in the semi-final without having been beaten, without even having the opportunity to take penalties, was disappointing, because it was so close to a final. And we firmly believed that had we been able to get to the final, we would have won it, because we would have been a formed team going into a final. You know, so near and yet so far.
The players put aside the disappointment of missing out on Wembley as they bounced back to secure a crucial away win against West Ham, courtesy of this John Hartson goal. The next game against QPR saw the team away from home for the 3rd consecutive match.
Sinclair. Impey. That's Kevin Gallen. He's tucked it into the corner. Touched on by Hartson well. Dixon on the move. That's a brilliant goal by Bergkamp. Surely one of his best in Arsenal's colours. Unerring was the volley.
We pick up the David Platt story after his announcement that he was to pledge his future to the Gunners. Goals in the pre-season friendlies at Southend and Wolverhampton confirmed his return to English football. Next, he faced the challenge of the Premiership.
Merson's pass is a tremendous one, and Platt is round Southall, and David Platt has scored.
Scoring goals is tremendous, and it takes you into fantasy world, really. You know, for a brief moment you don't know what you're doing, and that's why you see the celebrations from players, and some of them are very, very silly. when Ian scored against Everton, he scored a goal and he went to ground and I jumped on him and shouted as loud as I could in his ear hole, which nearly deafened him. I did it on purpose. And of course against Forest, the goal actually was a tremendous move, but I didn't realise how many passes we'd put together. I just remember, I think it was Dennis Bergkamp knocking a ball wide and Lee Dixon came in and volleyed it across. It came at me so quickly that instinctively I just fell back and volleyed it, and fortunately enough it's gone in the top corner. And I jumped up to run away and celebrate, and it was Wright that grabbed hold of my shorts, rugby tackled him into the ground and deafened me.
Despite the goals, things weren't quite as they seemed for David.
The biggest thing that happened to me was when we played Wolves in a pre-season friendly over there, and then with 10 minutes to go, I've been tackled, my knee's twisted, I've not thought nothing of it. We then played Inter Milan on the Friday, and it started to get worse as I was playing. So I came off in that game, and then it was basically for the first 2 weeks of the season I was hardly training, I was just playing the games. Because the knee would swell up after games, it would create problems for me. And when we had the scan done, it showed that the cartilage was torn. And I had to go into hospital and have the cartilage removed, well, trimmed down. When I first went in for the operation, the Sun ran an headline that I'd be out for 9 weeks. Now I fully expected that to be 4 or 5 weeks. Basically what happened is I always had this 9 weeks in my mind and I had to beat the Sun, so to speak. Unfortunately I had some problems in my rehabilitation. It was only, after 4 days my knee was fine, it was dry, there was no fluid on it, and I went in and did some very, very light work just to get the knee moving again. Went home that afternoon and the knee blew up again and filled with blood. What people didn't know at the time is that I then went in again a week after the first operation to have the knee drained out with all that blood. I then continued to play on it, and it was there. It was restricting my movement still. It wasn't perfect, and I had the scan showed nothing, but it was still there. And it wasn't until Christmas time really that we played the games in quick succession that it became apparent that this was getting worse and worse and worse, and that I'd have to have something done again. And I went into hospital in January time again for an exploratory operation, and was woken up a few hours after the operation by the surgeon, and he was going to tell me one of two things: either the knee would be fine, it'd been washed out and it'd be fine in 3 or 4 weeks and I'd be back to normal, or that the actual bone joint had been roughened and would need shaving, or had been shaved and I'd be out for maybe 3 months. For fortunate reasons, it was what I expected it to be. It was just a matter of washing the cartilage out and cleaning it out, and touch wood, everything's fine now. Mechanically the knee's fine, I don't get any problems with it at all. I think people have seen that I've got forward. Maybe I'm not clearing things off the line and then 10 seconds later getting a goal-scoring opportunity up front. But I have been in goal-scoring areas several times. I'm playing a lot better than I was when I had the knee problem. And I think it's there for all to see, to be honest with you. And it's only going to improve and improve. Like I say, when the team evolves next year, I expect to be back along it next year and to be playing at the top of me capabilities again.
Back to the Premiership for the visit of struggling Manchester City to Highbury.
Taken out by Dixon. Hartson. Oh! That's a fantastic goal from Johnny Hartson. Dipping over Emil, unstoppable. Bergkamp picking the pass for Dixon. Well, the player who grew up supporting Manchester City has scored here against his boyhood heroes, and it's another fine goal for Arsenal. Now Clough. Arsenal just stopping for a moment, looking at the referee, Summerby. Clough. Craney. Well, they've scored. And Arsenal seem to lose concentration, and it's cost them a goal to Jerry Craney. Platt, Merson. Still Merson. And Hartson got there first. Arsenal re-established control. Merson made it, and Hartson scored it.
On the 10th of March, Ian Wright shocked the Highbury faithful by announcing his intention to leave the club.
I put a transfer request in and they rejected it, and you know, what can you do, you know, if they reject it?
I spoke to him at the time that he handed me the transfer request, and I said to him quite clearly that I did not wish him to leave the club.
It's not been the greatest, you know, with certain things that's gone on, and ultimately with me putting in a transfer request, but you know, that's the way football goes. You know, sometimes it's really up and you're buzzing about it, and sometimes things happen that get you down a bit, and you just feel like you have to do things for yourself. You know, that's what I did.
His transfer request was rejected, and Ian was informed of that decision.
It would be a bit unfair to say that it's what reasons it's down to, you know, and I think that's those are things that's, you know, you just have to keep in between in the club, in the confines of the club, and that's what I'm going to try and do.
He's under contract for a period of time, and that remains the current position with him.
I'm not going to say anything else now. I've said my piece, and people now feel, and so I'll just wait till the end of the season, and that's what I'm going to do.
Despite Ian's dilemma, he was back from suspension to face Wimbledon.
It's a good header on by Dixon. Arsenal are hell-bent on revenge today after that defeat at Highbury. Dixon, and it is a goal, it must be. It's Winterburn. Well, one wing-back had the first shot and the other scored. Platt, deflected, goal! 2-0. Was sweetly hit by Platt, but the change of direction lost the goalkeeper. Quickly taken free kick by Wright. There's a real zest about Arsenal. Oh, and Solomon's fumbled it in. Bergkamp's goal, 3-0.
After the great win against the Dons, Arsenal travelled north to face title challenge. The result lifted Manchester United to joint top of the table, whilst the Gunners hung on to the all-important 5th place. We met up with the Arsenal youth team for their final game of the South East Counties League against Watford.
We at the moment have probably the youngest team we've had in the South East Counties this season. 7 of the group are schoolboys, and only 2 what we would call second-year boys. So we do it deliberately because this is the end of the season. The boys that are joining us next year as trainees need a taste of what is expected. It raises their own expectations. They realise what they've got to do, and hopefully they can set about it now.
Watford were the stronger team, and they took the lead through this free kick from Clint Easton. Arsenal fell further behind as Wayne Andrews capitalised from this slip-up by promising captain Jeff Woolsey. With Vice-Chairman David Dean looking on, the boys of the future pulled a well-deserved goal back through Terry Bowes. Unfortunately, despite pressure, the boys ended the season with a defeat, but they were far from disgraced.
Hey, well done, you've got a good season. If you consider that, keep changing around, you've done well. Well done. They'll know next year. They'll know next year, that's the thing. Hey Greg, they'll know next year.
It's been a good year with Pat Rice. We didn't do too well in the cup games, but the league back 3rd or 4th, so we can't have a grumble really.
I keep changing the side around week in, week out. Those that don't play one week, they will play the next week. And it's a credit to all of the boys that they come in and they try to play the way I want them to play. They want to play it out from the back. And as what happened this morning in the first half, we give a simple goal away. But players can only learn from that. And if they're not, and if we don't let them make mistakes at our level, they ain't never going to learn nothing.
The South East Counties League was won by West Ham United, with Arsenal's talented youngsters deserving much credit for their high finish. Back to the Premiership, the 3rd clash of the season with leaders Newcastle.
Race on between Wright and Butt. Beardsley trying to lend a hand for Newcastle, but Barton concedes the corner. Merson takes it. And coming in was Scott Marshall. His first goal. And Newcastle United have gone behind here in the 3rd minute. Hoisted away by Howie. Ferdinand trying to get underneath it, but Arsenal really on their mettle at the moment. A mistake by Barton. Winterburn right in the middle. Ian Wright has done more damage to Newcastle again. 2 goals here in the Coca-Cola Cup, and the 2nd today. No flag. Asprilla must score. Hasn't scored. Seaman got something on it somehow. It was all down to him. The flag stayed down, but the ball went up off the goalkeeper. Bergkamp. Well, Newcastle were caught square. Platt! Well, by his standards, it was a routine chance, but it stays at 2-0.
I remember actually running back to the halfway line after I scored, and it was like, you know, I realised there was another 85 minutes to go, sort of thing, you know, try and get my concentration back, so it was good. I really enjoyed it.
As the race for Europe hots up, Leeds were the next visitors to Highbury.
That's nice play. And the goalkeeper Lukic fumbled it. Hartson going in, and a goal for Wright. At the end of it all, after Dennis Bergkamp had left Leeds in his wake, Lukic trying to beat it down, but it got away from him. Winterburn was in there, Hartson was in there, and of course, who got the touch amidst all that? Wright, of course. Speed. Oh, and it's deflected by Dean, and a goal. Brian Dean's goal, and a touch of luck here for Leeds United. Seaman was stranded. Merson. On by Platt. Right. It's in! Well, I wonder how important that will be when they add up the points at the end of the season with European qualification in mind. But it was typical Ian Wright. Leeds had players around him, but they couldn't stop him swivelling, and they couldn't stop him scoring.
Bank Holiday Monday saw Arsenal leave Hillsborough empty-handed as they lost valuable European points to this Mark de Gruyter goal. But there was little time for reflection as the second North London derby loomed.
We had a disappointing result at Easter at Sheffield, so we've got to make sure that we bounce back from that. And you know, this season when we've had a bad result, we've tended to bounce back well. So we're looking forward to it, and we're at home, and you know, there's certainly a lot to play for. And if we can get that final European place, it makes the season, you know, a slightly successful one, as opposed to, you know, a first season under the new manager. We'd like to have won something, but if we qualify for Europe, it makes up for not winning something.
This look at the league table underlines the importance of the match against Spurs. Arsenal could not afford to lose.
Bergkamp pulling to the left. And that was Merson taking it on the volley. Tottenham, who defend normally so well, had got pulled one way and then the other. Put away by Howells. This is Armstrong. Howells has gone on. Armstrong! An inventive try. He claims a corner. Not given. Parlour. Rule Fox taking a chance there, and well, Winterburn didn't take his chance. It was a risky way of defending by the Tottenham man, and he was let off the hook. Edinburgh. The extra spice in this match, the rivalry not just of the locality but for a spot in Europe next season. Armstrong had time to set his sights.
The most important thing, I suppose, was not losing. At least we've shared a point. We've kept the 2-point gap between Tottenham and ourselves. But then you've just got to move on to the next game, and so the next game becomes the most important. And it happens that the next game for us will be Blackburn, who are right behind us in the division. If we can beat Blackburn, then we put them totally out of the equation. They can't qualify for Europe.
Arsenal caught rather in a line then. Can Gallagher reach it? He does. Well, David Seaman started to come out and was left in no man's land, and Kevin Gallagher puts Blackburn Rovers into the lead. Given away by Hendry. Merson. Wright. Flowers. And against the post. And Merson. Well, Ian Wright with 2 efforts, but Arsenal still trail. And appeals for handball as Merson followed in. Dixon. Hendry trying to let it go, and he's tangled with Parlour, and the penalty is given. Well, Colin Hendry thought he was in charge, but it was the referee in the end who laid down the law. So Ian Wright stepping up with the equaliser in his sights. There it is.
And the score for Arsenal, Ian Wright.
Winterburn scurrying in support of Merson. Still Merson. It's a brilliant run. Hartson blocked on the line by Hendry. And when Shaw came in, Blackburn still survived. First Hartson, and then Shaw here, and it was Flowers the second time who saved. And finally over the top.
Next up, FA Cup finalist Liverpool.
Redknapp didn't get very far. Merson, half thinking about the shot. Hartson! Well, he got it past the goalkeeper, but also past the post. Barnes couldn't get there. Merson. Hartson to his right. And getting in Merson's way, and then getting the ball! And it's still, after a fine piece of work by James, McAteer didn't totally clear it. Liverpool at 6s and 7s, back from Merson, and it has stayed somehow at 0-0.
That draw against Liverpool left Arsenal knowing exactly what was required in their final league fixture. A superior goal difference had kept them in 5th place, and victory against Bolton would guarantee European football next season. Before this exciting climax to the season, it's time to get our final year-end report from the Arsenal reserves. 1995-96 was particularly encouraging for the reserves. Leaders of the Avon Insurance Combination League for a large part of the season, their manager George Armstrong had the satisfaction of seeing a number of his younger players graduating to first-team honours.
For me, it's been probably the best season I've had with the kids. And I think basically that's because we've had the same group of kids virtually from the beginning of the season to the end. Arguably, I think we were the best football team in the combination. You know, we lost the odd game, but it's because teams maybe physical or the hump it, which I hate. But at least we've tried to play football, and I think we've won a lot of friends this year, the way we played football. But overall, I mean, I'm been 90% happy this year, apart from, as I said, the odd game, but delighted with the kids.
So the season ended on the right note for the reserves. Having completed all their games, they're assured of third place. The stakes couldn't be higher at a packed Highbury for the final game of the season.
Well, it all started here in the sunshine in August against Middlesbrough. And is it going to end on a sunny note for Arsenal, who hold all the European cards, it seems, when you look at the table? Bergkamp. Merson to his left, now making a move into the centre. Bergkamp tried to place it. Well, Bolton keeping their chins up, although they are going down. This is Todd. He scored. The manager's son. Andy Todd. And Bolton, incredibly, are in front. Sure. After all this, are Arsenal going to miss out on the final day? The chance of going back into Europe. Platt! The goal is given, but will it be enough? David Platt got it through Bergson's legs. Platt, Bolton looking weary now. Bergkamp! Well, if that takes Arsenal into the UEFA Cup, it was the perfect goal. Two players rounding off their first season at Arsenal. First Platt, then Bergkamp in some style. The news from Newcastle is that Tottenham have only drawn and Arsenal will be in the UEFA Cup next season.
It was scripted, so I don't know what all the fuss is. That's what Dennis was going to do anyway. I don't know what's all the bother.
Well, what can I say?
We said to Dennis, give us a sign.
We said to Dennis when he signed, don't care what you do, just get us the win on the last game of the season, get us in Europe, and he did it. And he missed it as well.
He's the Messiah. And we just said, give us a sign, and he said that's the sign.
I've been playing all season for this, to get into Europe, and finally we got it, and that's such a relief, and it's such a great feeling in that moment that you're finally there. It's brilliant.
Here I stay, man. This is the place for me.
Sorry. Nice one, Ray.
Nice one. I love you, Dicko.
I love you too.
The script's been great today because although the goals have come late, or the winner has, and it's been a great team effort. The people that have scored the goals are the two people I've bought, which is David Platt and Dennis Bergkamp. But they, more than anybody, know how to play for the team. And I've just thanked everybody here today for their great efforts because it really has been a fantastic team effort. And I'm delighted to be here. I mean, I've really enjoyed the season. It's been demanding, but what else would you want? We put our own demands on ourselves. And today, it's just a great day. Glad we're in Europe.
The final Premiership table of the season sees Manchester United as champions and, most importantly for Arsenal fans, the Gunners in 5th position, securing a place in the UEFA Cup. We leave the players in celebratory mood and look forward to your support next season as Arsenal embark on another European adventure.